Hello, today we're going to walk through the EASYwriter Pro Report Center. If you're logging in as an agent user into the agency dashboard, you still have your quick links here in the right-hand corner to access reports. However, at the time of this recording, there are some of these reports that have not yet been converted to the Report Center. If you click on a report that hasn't been converted, you will see the old report parameter window. You can still access the report, you can still use the report, it just doesn't come up in the Report Center. We hope to have all of these reports converted by early 2018. But I wanted to mention it just so that if you were working before these get converted, that you see the difference between those that are still running the old reports and the new ones, where if you click on one that has been converted, you'll see the new reports parameter window in the Report Center. And we'll go through all of the options of the Report Center in just a little bit, but I just wanted to call out the difference between some of the reports that you may find when you first log into EASYwriter Pro after the update for the Report Center. When you click out of the dashboard and into EASYwriter Pro, you'll see the EASYwriter Pro landing page or welcome page. We've added all of the links that we used to have as well to the search menus for Hale and MPCI, for the claims menus for both of the lines of business, EasyQuote. You can re-access the agency dashboard from here, and you'll have your Report Center option. We also have the same quick links that we have on the agency dashboard on the left-hand side of the landing page, as well as two options for entering a new notice of loss for either MPCI or Hale. But let's take a look at the Report Center. Now when you first log into the Report Center and haven't used it at all yet, you'll see that it's pretty blank. What we're going to do is we're going to show you how to use the My Reports section that it defaults to with these categories of favorites, custom, recent, and the search results. Now we've also tried to make this as user-friendly and organized as possible. So we added some categories to separate the reports into to making access to them a little easier. Now, as an agent user, you may have access to the report. The report will only run with the policies that you have access to. So you might be able to run the report, but it won't generate any information based on your user credentials. You can also see when you click on one of the departments that it has a certain icon attached to it as well, and that makes finding the report a little bit easier. If you're searching for it, you can see that it's actually housed in the category of claims if it has this type of icon. So that's kind of, once again, trying to make things a little bit more organized and a little bit more user-friendly. Let's click on the underwriting report. That one's got a lot of different subcategories as well. It has our admin section. It has the FCIC section where if you're looking for reports to help clear FCIC errors, they would be housed there. Our lines of business with Hale, MPCI, and then over here on the right, the name peril. We also have our MPCI documents and our mobile documents as well. But what we really want to stress is that you can make all of these reports your own. And you do that by finding the report that you want to use using the search window. I like to use the MPCI coverage listing from the old inbox because that shows a lot of the really good information for me as a user. So I'm going to type in the word coverage into my search window and hit enter. Now you can see that this brings up a list in the search results tab of all of the reports that have the word coverage in the description or in the title. Now the description you find by hovering over the report, and it shows as a tooltip underneath where the word coverage might be listed if it's not in the title, and also where the report came from originally. So you can see this one under coverage retention came from our miscellaneous reports and our accounting reports. So I'm going to select MPCI coverages. You can tell that this is named a little bit different, but this is the report that I'm looking for. It comes from the inbox report. You can see that when you hover over it. And it was called Policy Coverage Listing Prior. So I'm going to click on that. And this brings up all the parameters for this report that I can either filter the report for. Now, currently, it makes you select the branch all of the time. In order to make it your own, you have to do a couple of different things. So I'm going to just run the general report for this test agency that I'm using. And it pulls all the policies I have under this agency user. So if I want to save this report as a favorite, I just click Add Favorite. So then I know anytime I go into the Report Center, I can go to my favorites, and the MPCI coverage is right there. Now, because I don't have any formatting on this yet, or customized this report at all, it still requires me to type in my branch filter as a requirement. And basically that's just to do a basic filter right away on the report, so those users that have access to more branches, we can narrow down right away what the report is trying to pull up. When you get the report printed, you have all of the options of the grid that we've shown you in some of the other features recently, like MPCI Policy Editor, Hail Policy Editor, where you can always filter on a column and filter out to a specific policy, say, or insured name, whatever. If you're a master agency, you can sort it by agency name, and it'll separate it out by whatever agency you're looking for. So let's take this filter off. And you could also say you just wanted to, if you had a big report and you just wanted to filter down to your PRF, you could do that as well. So those are nice options on the grid, I think, because it can kind of take a big report, if you had one, down to what you actually need to see. I really like that. You can also do an ascending or descending grouping or sort as well. And that's just the little arrow on the right-hand side of the column will allow you to switch between the two. In the grid format, you can always move things around and change things up a little bit as well. Now, say I wanted my options to be right next to my crops. I can just drag it and drop it in next to the crops. You can always see those little arrows that show, and that shows you where that new placement is going to be for that column. So I just flipped my coverage level and my type columns, and you can see that that's now in the new spot. If I want to save this so that every time I run this report it comes up this exact way, then I have to do a save formatting. Just click on that, and the next time I run this report from my favorites, you can see that now my columns are in the order that I changed them to. Okay. The other thing that you can do that's really kind of handy is you can always drag a grouping up into this top area. So say you had a master agency and you wanted to group all of your policies by and show it separated by agency, you could do that by just dragging this up to the top, or it groups it by those agencies. Now I only have one agency for this particular test user, but it would show you all of your agencies under your master separated by that grouping. So that's kind of neat. The other thing you can do is you can separate it for insured name. So say we had multiple policies under our insured names, it will then separate that out as well. So once again, you can always choose what you want the report to look like by dragging those groupings out and making this report your own. I like the features as well that we've added to this grid that kind of mimic Excel. So if I want to add a total to my net premium column, I just right click down here above the scroll bar and right below the column for net premium. I hit sum, and you can see that it totals on the net premium column. It also gives me a subtotal on all of my groupings as well. So now if I want to save this report so that every time I run this report it comes up this way, I'm going to hit the save formatting, and then I'm going to copy it to a custom report. I'm just going to leave the custom report name the same way so that I know that this is the one that I customized. I can add some other description here if I want to, so that I know what I did to this report particularly, but for the purpose of this example I'm just going to leave it as customized MPCI coverages. So I'll hit OK. And now you see that I have the old MPCI coverages and I have MPCI coverages customized. So I'm going to cancel both out of those. And then I'm going to go over to my custom tab and I'm going to rerun it. So then the next time it comes up, it knows what I had for my parameters, and it knows what I had for all of my customization on the report itself. So keys to remember here is if you are doing some sort of groupings or any customization in the totals, is just make sure that you hit the save formatting button and then hit the copy to custom report. Alright, so once you've done all of that and you want to print out your report, let's run that report again. You hover over, you can see this is a split icon. Basically what that means is if you hit the top part of the icon, this is like a select all, and it will print the entire report as is, and it'll show you in the preview. Now I have a small report, so I'm going to just print as is and show you some of the options that are in the print preview, or the document preview. We have our zoom in, our zoom out. All of those options are nice to get to a certain level where things are easy to read. We have our thumbnails where you can see what your report is going to print out like. You can see this one is slightly larger than an landscape orientation, so it will actually flow over to a second page. You can see that. The only way that you can get that to be on one page currently is that you would go back into your grid and you would reduce the size of a lot of these columns, or you could remove some columns and just get down to basically what fits on one page. Otherwise you can export it to Excel, which I'll show you in just a minute as well. We have our search option where you can go in and print or select a specific policy number. And you can see the search results are highlighted in blue. You can also add a watermark to your report if you choose to. Say this was a listing of policies that had acres that were not yet certified. You could put a watermark on it and just know that that printout is specific to acres that are not yet certified. Our page setup, that gives you the option to change your orientation or to reduce your margins as well. You can get a little bit more information on each individual page if you reduce the margins there. Your quick print will give you the whole entire report directly to your default printer. Your print options give you the option to change the printer from your default to a different printer, or you can of course just print a range of pages instead of the whole report and things like that. Now here's our export to Excel button. We're going to click on that, and this will show you that it's going to export the document to the Excel format. But I wanted to point out that it does default to this particular file path. So if you want to change that, hit the ellipse button on the right hand side of the field, and then you can move it into your documents folder, onto your desktop, or wherever you choose. But just to make it easier to find, I would change that file path from the default. The same thing with the printing to a PDF. It shows you that it will export as a PDF, but it's going to default into this file path. So you want to make sure that you, once again, change that to its to a different destination so you can find that report a little bit easier. But basically, that's the entire print preview of the documents or the reports. You also, let's go back to our report. If you wanted to, if you had a very long report and you only wanted to do a select amount of data, you can do the second half of that icon and do print and export, and then it will just do the selection. So now you see that you only have those two that I have highlighted as my report preview. So basically that is all of the options that we have for you today on the Report Center. We appreciate you logging in and listening to this training today, and we hope you have a great day.